Hello, today's Bible study comes from 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 11 through 12, and it reads as follows. When I was a child, I talked like a child, I thought like a child, I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I put the ways of childhood behind me. For now we see only a reflection as in a mirror. Then we shall see face to face. Now I know in part that I shall know fully, even as I am fully known. Whoa. So Paul is just saying, hey, when you were a kid, it was fine to act like a kid. And at that time, he was saying, what's really going on is this is good for now. These gifts are good for now. But they're not going to be appropriate forever. They won't be. And Paul wasn't saying that, everything has come to fruition and you are doing everything that you should do. But he's saying we will not need the gifts. But he is saying that if you are spiritually mature, we're not gonna go crazy with these spiritual gifts. We should be concentrating on love. If you want to go overboard or anything with anything, go overboard with love. And we don't want to have these gifts, so-called gifts, even if you're faking them in the real world, and they are at the expense of love. You don't want to have a gift that scares somebody away from the Lord. You don't want to say you have that gift and you scare people away from the Lord. And then he says, "For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face." And he's talking about, hey, when you see Jesus, okay, not with dimly and stuff, but when you can fully see Christ, those gifts will be gone. Perfection is here. So these gifts will be gone. And that's because you will have the presence, the love, the completeness, the spirit, everything in the presence of Jesus. You know, your light will be fulfilled. All these things that the gifts were needed for will no longer be needed because the answer is there. The true love is there. And Paul is telling you, hey, you're going to be in total fellowship with the Lord. That's how we get to see him face to face, truly. When they say worship in spirit and in truth, that's what we will be. And it says that if you're going to see him face to face, then guess what? You are going to see Jesus as he is. So, in other words, the gifts that you needed for imperfect time, well, now I'm in perfection. I don't need them. The gifts you needed to deal with sin and demons and all that, I'm with the Lord. I no longer need them. There is no more sin. There is no more imperfection. And the true love, the face to face with Christ, is what you will see. And Paul says, for right now, we see in a mirror. And Paul is just telling you, when we see the Lord, if we have a mirror that's got strength, the image is clear. One of those great mirrors that can see detail. But remember back then, they didn't have glass like that. Most mirrors back then were like when they had them on their they're shields. They were made of metal. I'm sorry. They were made of metals. So you didn't get a great image. And it was unclear and it was fuzzy. So he's saying right now you see him in that way, unclear and fuzzy. But there will be a day to come, and he speaks on that, when we will see him with no problem. He will be in high def, 1080, whatever you want to call it. Then I shall know just as I also am known. So he's saying God knows everything about you. Okay, so this is how I will be known. But, 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 when I get to glory, I will know God the only way I can, and that will be perfectly. And then I will be known just as I am known. And he's not giving credence or thought that we are going to be all knowing. But when we're in glory, we will know the Lord as perfectly as we can. We will be with him. He will reveal himself to us as perfectly as we can receive it. We will be in the Spirit. That's the only way we can take in the Lord truly. So now I know in part, as he says. So he's saying, hey, right now these gifts are needed in this present age. And you could see all the things that were going on and everything that was happening back in that time. So these gifts truly were needed. We were not even speaking the same language. In many parts, we couldn't understand one another. And we weren't fully mature. But he does say the day is coming when them gifts aren't going to be needed. But not yet. Not yet. So Paul is still talking about the gifts. He's still talking about, hey, at that time you're in an imperfect world. He's telling you that in the future, when you see the Lord, there will be no need for gifts. But there will continue to be need for love. And he's going to finish this chapter up, which is our next lesson for tomorrow, with love. Amen.